Hi.
The good thing about this is it's all
begin.
It cocoons your skin. If you were to rub airplane.
I think SWAT are flying overhead. That'll be an outtake we'll use at the beginning. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm here in LA, it's my last day. I fly home in about 2 hours. So before I do that, I managed to get January to take a break from her schedule and come and see me. This is the Beautacious, is that a word? I think it's a word.
I love it.
January, from January Labs. You know January Labs if you've ever read my blog, pretty much. Bought one of my cult beauty boxes, pick one. The good thing about this trip has been, I just had this epiphany. I was like, loads of my favourite people are in LA. Maybe, just maybe I could get them together. And we had this brilliant dinner, and then I was like, guys, and it was this casual. Do you want to film tomorrow? Just like, you know, because I came out here with Pixie. You know, I come over once a year for my double cleanse, and I would say I'll stick a few days on because, you know, it's LA and it's sunshine. It's snowing at home. Snowing.
It is cold here though.
Cold is relative. Just gonna put that out there. Cold is relative. And then everyone said yes. So then we were like, woohoo! So thank you so much. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know you have a busy schedule. Tell us why January Labs, why skincare, where it came from, where you came from. Give us your brief bio.
Okay.
I mean, you don't have to be too brief, but you know. Oh, by the way, before
When
we
I was
start,
one.
also, yeah, when you were one, before we start, January is the last of my friends to be filmed, just the way the scheduling worked out, and my microphone died. So we are filming on my vlogging camera, which I'm quite excited about. My girlfriend Lily films all her videos on her vlogging camera now. So the big fat expensive camera's over on the side of the room with a naughty microphone, and we're on the vlogging camera, so it may or may not work. We're being slightly louder than normal so that you can hear us. I apologise, but it's worth it because we want to hear you.
Thank you. Okay, so well, first of all, I love you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm so happy to be here. I'm from Orange County. That's just
Like the program.
Yeah,
The OC. Oh my god, the OC. Oh my god.
OMG, that's how I'm going to talk this whole.
When we landed, we had a few hours here. I'm going to shut up, I promise. But you've just made me laugh. And we went out for something to eat. We went to Tender Greens with my son Ben, who January met at dinner, and
adorable,
and Amanda from Pixie. And these two girls walked by, and they were literally like two Kourtney Kardashians. So it was, oh my god, I can't even. He's so rude. Oh my god, and it was so loud and Ben just started laughing, and he looked up and he went, I didn't think people really spoke like that. And it was just so funny. And then Amanda and I started doing, oh my god, like for real, oh my god.
I should just punk everyone and just really start talking that way.
You really should.
I should, OMG.
Do you go home and everyone talks like that?
Yeah. No.
She's like, no, I don't mean it, I don't mean it.
No.
I interrupted, I'm gonna shut up. Tell us, so you're from the OC.
I'm from Orange County, the OC. And I, you know, usually when people ask, when did your passion begin with skincare, I can wholeheartedly say really, really young. I was an unusual child. I would save my money and buy an eye cream or a Chanel compact or my passions lied in that, not toys or clothes or normal things that 12 or 13 or 14-year-olds were into. But I would also make my own masks. My idea of a good time was giving facials and even giving my grandpa like foot massages and stuff. Just the whole idea of, I guess now we call it self-care,
yeah,
which is such an LA thing to say, I guess too. But that was just always kind of instilled in me, I guess, from me. No one really influenced me. It was just kind of always the way I was. Even a friend recently commented on something on my Instagram saying, all of your childhood dreams have come true, and they really have.
You're making potions for a living.
Yes. So so with that, after school I worked for Clarins, which was I was looking for a company that, because we really, I mean, I think that makeup was really the focus years ago when I was new to all of this, and I thought, okay, well, Clarins is serious about skincare, so that's
exactly
the brand.
what I did.
Really?
That's exactly what I did. I was working for Space NK. They weren't my first job in the industry. Aveda was my first job. I was working for Space NK, and I gave my notice in and said, I'm going to Clarins because I want to be serious about skincare. And
I love that.
And on the very same day, I met Sylvie Chantecaille, and she offered me the job at Chantecaille, so I went with Chantecaille. because they were launching skincare. But yeah,
Oh.
but then I went back to
that
Clarins.
worked out well.
But then I went back to Clarins a few years later and did a very short stint in store because I just really wanted to be on the shop floor again. Love you, Clarins.
With that red jacket on.
No, I would never wear the jacket. And here's the truth. The head office would come round, because in central London stores there's always people popping in and out of head office. And I wore a black blazer, black trousers, black t-shirt, hair in a ponytail. I had longer hair at the time. Hair in a very sleek ponytail and a bright red lip, because I thought I'll wear a red lip and red nails. And head office would come round, and every time they came, because Harvey Nichols didn't mind that I didn't wear the red. No one likes the red uniform. Everyone hates it, right?
It is, yeah.
Everyone hates you. We love you. We hate your uniform. And I say that with love for the Clarins girls. I feel sorry for you. The polyester t-shirts and you'd sweat in your armpits. No.
Yes.
So I would always be in black. And then head office would come around and they'd say, "Where's your uniform?" I go, "Oh, it's in the dry cleaners." Every single
You're
time.
like, but hello.
Yeah.
Lips, nails.
Lips
red.
and nails, and I was making them money, so they didn't care.
Exactly.
But yeah, I hear you. Love it,
I
Clarins.
love that.
Yeah. Never wearing the uniform.
I'm gonna wear it next time I see you.
I wish I still had mine. We could wear it together. Can you imagine the photo?
Just out. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Anyway, I'm looking forward to that next trip. That's happening. So I worked for Clarins, and then, my skincare obsession grew, of course. And then I started using a product called Epicurin, and I became obsessed with this. Obsessed is an understatement. And I thought I need to work for this company. I found out that their headquarters were near where I lived, and I really stalked them. It's kind of embarrassing now, but I can
How
laugh
old are you
about
at this point?
I was 22.
Right.
I had just turned 22. And I was not emailing, what am I saying?
Oh,
I
no
was
email.
mailing
You're
in. I was
younger than me, but there was no email
there was
then.
no email, no. There was no, I would mail in my faux resume, whatever I had concocted at the time, and I would call, and they kept on saying no, and I thought, but I just knew. I'm like, they need me.
You need me. You don't know you need me.
You don't know it,
me.
but you need, yeah. So that's, obviously there were some brain issues going on there where I was just like, they just need to see me. They need to meet me. That's what needs to happen.
Me.
Yes. But it was so serendipitous. I went there. I decided to put on a suit. I went there and
Not a red suit.
I put on my Clarins jacket.
Oh, you did not?
No.
And I was like, "Well, God, really?"
No, I was just thinking, I'm like, that follows. And I walked up, and as I'm walking in, coming in at the same exact time as this woman, and she's like, "How can I help you?" And I said, "Can you direct me to human resources?" That's my 22-year-old voice, I guess I'm doing. And she said, "Come into my office," and we talked for a while, and she said, "We're not really hiring, but we're hiring a makeup artist because we're thinking of getting involved in makeup," something to that effect. And I'm like, "I'm a makeup artist." And that just came out. I'm not a makeup artist, nor have I ever been one. And I really shouldn't be. But anyway, it got me in the door, and she hired me on the spot that day, and I found out she's the owner of the company. And
what do you do about not being able to do makeup?
I don't know. I just kind of was like, well, now I'm here. So
now I'm here. I just need to tell you that
now
actually.
I'm gonna be honest. No. So I ended up working for the company. It just kind of evolved, and I think it was pretty evident my passion for the product. And I mean, I think when she hired me, I said, "You can just give me large sizes of the product. You don't even have to pay me." This is me at 22, just saying, "I'll clean the toilets, whatever you need me to do, I'm here."
Yeah.
So they didn't pay me in product. So I started working for them. I worked from all angles, as in labeling, filling, shipping. I mean, I learned everything about the business. I was there for almost 8 years. But really my passion, and those lasted just a couple months when I first started, and then I really thought I want to get into product development and education. And then I got my esthetician's license, and just the job kind of evolved itself. And it was an incredible experience. I mean, it was really a dream job, and it was everything that I wanted to do. So after about 8 years, you realize, though, it's time for a change, probably. Yeah. And I also just developed so many ideas that I had of my own for what I thought that was really lacking, and what I wanted. And I usually tell people this. I say, with these products, I'm not necessarily trying to make a product that's going to appeal to everyone. I'm just making products I love, and I use, that I literally cannot live without all of the products that I have. They all have very much a purpose, and they're really like I made them, I love them, I can't live without them. Maybe it's the same for you.
Yeah.
So it's not really my intention to really fit the need, because there's so many brands out there. There's so many options. There's so you know, I always tell people, if it doesn't work for you, that's fine. There's Josh, there's May. There's so many great brands out there. So I think also, and I love what's going on with Instagram now too, where everyone's putting their regimens up and it's a little something from each brand.
Yeah.
I really, really admire that, because we all have things that we're really strong on.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's a little bit of my start. I digress.
And then the skincare's been going how long?
So I thought of starting the brand. I thought about it and starting it are two different things. I kind of had a year after I left my company of kind of, or left the company I was working for, of just kind of obsessively doing yoga and baking. It was weird.
Okay.
It was like this too. I was like baking pie, but then doing yoga. I just needed that time, I guess. Like, let me bake my pie. No. Anyway, so I had a little bit of time off, and I thought of doing this, and I even created a couple products and produced them. But I think it was still kind of like, oh, I don't know. And then I went and spoke with the buyer of Fred Siegel, and that was my first account. And I thought, okay, I think I'm on to something if they like this. And that kind of, I gained a little more confidence from that. And then had some really influential estheticians that caught on and really enjoyed. They really understood what I was trying to do and accomplish.
And what came first, product-wise?
First, I started with a cleanser. So I had the cleanser, the tonic, and a moisturizer.
Yeah.
So really
a three-step.
A three-step, and it wasn't enough. You know, it was a good start, but it's like, hi, here's a cleanser and a moisturizer. The brand wasn't fully developed yet, but it was a good way to start. And at the time, that's all I could really do. So I just had to go off of that. And, you know, as I gained a little bit more momentum, off of sales, I was like, okay, I could get more into the ingredients that I wanted to, producing the night cream, the day cream, the glow and go. And now I'm making products more of, again, following the idea of, well, I think I want this. Like right now I'm working on a retinol because I love retinol. Yeah. So it usually takes about 1.5 years for each product to be developed. I test on myself. I give it to a number of people to test. I give you products to test. And then I figure out which one's the best
to go from.
Yeah.
In terms of products, what was important to you to make sure was in the mix, and what was important to you to make sure it wasn't in the mix? Did you have sort of, when you go to your chemist, because although it's called January Labs, it's not you in a kitchen.
No.
You have chemists. That's the one thing that everyone has in common. You all have proper formulators and chemists.
Absolutely.
And you work together and you work
in unison. Want.
Yeah, exactly. You want the pros. What was important, you know, what was your sort of criteria? Like, you know, I want this, this and this, and I don't believe in these ingredients.
Definitely. So as we were just saying before we started filming, chemicals are not bad. And I think that there's this idea now where it's like, is it chemical free? And I don't even know how to respond.
If it has water in it, no.
Exactly.
That's what you should say.
Exactly.
If it has water in it, no, it is not
no,
chemical
and I feel
free.
it's just always like, for some reason, I talk about this with my chemist all the time. He's like, oh God, there's nothing wrong with this ingredient, but I can't use it because it's not, you know, so one thing I wanted to make sure of, and I know that you don't like this word either, but non-toxic chemicals are something that, and I know it's with a large amount of those ingredients. So when it's these, but I think just to, I just don't want to explain the product, I guess. So it's almost just better not to have them.
Yeah.
You know, like the whole sulfates, parabens, all of those products. But I also think the idea, I think a lot of brands try to use a lot of like
fluff.
In vogue. Well, also it's like, oh, this is in style right now to have this ingredient. And a lot of like the older, and I hesitate with saying antiquated, but like these, you know, witch hazel, which is in, yes, thank you.
Traditional.
I use witch hazel in the tonic because it's great. It's one of my chemist's favorite ingredients. Yeah. And it's witch hazel. So there are, I think I wanted a lot of performance ingredients, but I wanted to not have a lot of them in one product. Mm-hmm. And I think, like for instance, my night cream's a 9% lactic acid. And that's really, it's called retexturizing night cream because it really changes the texture of your skin. It really cocoons your skin. exfoliates. There are a few antioxidants, there is some beta-glucane, there is peptides, but the main function of that product is to exfoliate the proper way.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can go on about exfoliation because I don't like scrubs. I do like a chemical form of exfoliation. So
yeah. On that note, tell me about, because you've got a couple of new products or newness from the last year or so. So the Brightening Tonic.
Yes. Oh, what is this?
And yeah, I did say to her, I'm going to ask you about these two products. So I think there's a big gap in the market for this because of the type of acid. So tell us about this one and why you chose lactic.
Okay, so lactic, because I think that they're, for me personally, and going back to me making this line really for myself and what I really enjoy personally, I can't use glycolic acid. I struggle with pigmentation so badly that it's almost like a magnet for pigmentation for me if I set foot outside.
Yeah.
So more of a gentle exfoliation. This has a 3.4 lactic acid, and it also has fruit enzymes. So there's you're exfoliating your skin on a more gentle scale, but it's also great for stimulating collagen production, and it also has sodium PCA, so it is hydrating at the same time. Yeah. You're not going to get that. This just feels so incredible. It's very soothing, it's very calming. So if your skin is sensitive, if you do struggle with pigmentation, I always tell people, I'm like, it kind of helps with the three problems we're really always dealing with. For me, it's hormonal breakouts, pigmentation, and I hate when people say signs of aging. I'm just, or just
signs of aging. Yeah. I know it's hard to talk about it in a positive way because I hate the term anti-aging because I'm not anti-aging, but if you take anti-aging to mean what we mean when we say it now, we mean products that help fight signs of aging, i.e. I don't particularly want to have a face full of lines.
No, me neither. We're on the same page on that.
Yeah, so but, equally, I don't really want to Botox the bejesus out of my face either. I don't think Jim would ever speak to me again if I went home and couldn't do the eyebrow.
Oh my God, come home from LA with a hole in your face.
Yes, I should have done that. I've been here long enough to let it recover and not bruise. He'd divorce me immediately.
Oh my God.
So I do think you can talk about signs of aging, and it's difficult as long as the customer knows that your intention is not to make them feel bad about themselves. Your intention is to help support their skin journey.
Yeah.
Then you're okay. And also, I wouldn't work with people in terms of doing things like this if someone was just so obviously anti the natural aging process. Because, I said in one of my very first videos on YouTube, I did a video with Sam and Nick Chapman, Pixie Woo, and I said, aging is a privilege no one gets. And it fell out of my mouth. And then it became this sort of statement that I've made.
That.
But it was true, aging is a privilege not everyone gets. So stop moaning about it, embrace what you've got, make the best of it. If you want to have surgery, have surgery. If you want to have Botox, have Botox. If you're happy to just use product, just use product. But I think it's almost owning it for ourselves instead of letting brands talk about this is anti-aging and you won't have any signs that you've ever had a life on your face. That's not what I want. I don't know anyone who wants that.
Oh, and I just like myself so much more the older I get.
Oh, don't just.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, why can't I,
Why didn't I have this brain when I was 25?
Yes.
20 even. 17. Yes. 17 would be good.
I know.
I suppose it happened for a reason.
You would be president, and
that's possible.
You should be president. I'm like, please save us, help us. Anyway, that's another story.
Yeah, being in California is interesting on this visit. Interesting is just probably best, but we should leave it. Yeah. So, you've done your Brightening Tonic. Will you go down the road of any other acids, or do you think this encompasses what you wanted to achieve?
I love this product because you can actually layer it. You can use this 3 times a week if you want, but you can also use it in the morning, you can use it at night, and I feel like this works, but I'm always open to new things. Like if I get on if there's something that comes to me. One thing I'm working on right now actually is a probiotic tonic. So we're working with it's kind of on stealth mode right now because
it's not now January. You've just told everyone.
I'm like, it's a big secret.
I think Jordan did that yesterday. He went and I'm not going to talk about that, and he'd already said it, and I'm like, oh, for God's sake, you're making a nightmare for me to edit. I'm gonna have to remember that I can't put this out there. But
you can put this out there. I just wanted to sound really,
because you've got
007.
So when I'm doing your routine, I would do this first and then the restorative mist.
You would, but the mist I wanted to talk about a little bit because I love seeing it on Instagram. I love seeing everyone's regimens and that's posted. But the tonic can be used,
and you know I'm keeping this for the airplane. Yeah, she's not having this back.
You're keeping all of this. I'm making you.
I love the baby sizes. Josh makes the baby size too. I love the baby size.
So this product, really the intention, obviously you can use it to tone after your cleanse or after your acid, absolutely. But this is something, and that's why we even have this little mini one, but this is something, I actually keep the large one in my purse though, I'm even in my little purse. This you can mist on your face throughout the entire day because it's constantly restoring and repairing the skin barrier. And you know, it's just with the stresses of life and being in the environment and free radicals and all of those things. And the other thing about this product that's so unique is I love setting makeup with this because I always say, I'm like, this product is so smart. It knows where to give your skin a glow, but also where to kind of eat up shine and oil. It's incredible. So, I mean, I probably missed my spray. No, not at all. But it's almost as around 5 if you're going out and you just kind of miss your face, you're not able to kind of freshen up. It looks like you've had a little mini, you know.
Just give it to me.
Yes, let's mist. Oh, I love it. Oh God,
you
it feels so good right now.
It would be good if you had smell-o-vision as well. Oh, yes. And I like, this is much more of, I like that it's, you know, a restorative tonic mist. The name is great because it is a mist. It acts like a tonic because it's zappy and it wakes you up. But the restorative part is you don't feel greasy. It doesn't feel like it sort of is not soaking into your skin. It works immediately. And
it. Do you feel like when you just sprayed your face, don't you feel like you're like, I needed that? Ooh. Your skin just, yeah, thank you. I liked that.
Nice work. Yes. And then the other two I want to touch on because I just think while I'm here I'm going to use your brain. The night cream.
The night cream. So the night cream to me is, I can't live without that product.
Well, because I think you give the impression of being a nice natural LA brand.
No.
And we use, the word natural is abused in the industry. We know this, we all know this. And then it became green, and then it became everyone wanted to be green, and then it came that if you weren't green, you were bad. And I think we finally seem to have plateaued at a lovely place where people accept, brands and customers and retailers, that there's a happy medium where you can have beautiful green foundation in your range. Not green foundation, I mean the foundation of the range. But you have really good man-made ingredients. So instead of saying chemical, I try and say man-made because then it makes people think, oh, okay, you know, just to kind of, it's balance. And I think the fact that, you know, you are sort of what I would call a very LA brand, everyone I've spoken to this week is, when I sort of remind people of the science behind it and the fact that your night cream is what % lactic acid?
9%. You'll feel it.
Yes.
You'll see it.
Yeah.
That's one of those products because what I love, and again,
Night cream.
Okay.
By the way, we've just had like SWAT teams landing as well, so this is actually turning into quite fun. The microphone broke. We were waiting for ages for the doorbell to go, and now we've got SWAT flying around outside.
We're probably gonna be like stuck.
I'm waiting for Samuel L. Jackson to come bursting through the window with the helicopters.
It's just Justin Bieber's down there. No.
Oh, yeah, that's the hope. There's the helicopters going that way. Bye.
Oh, go stay.
Right.
Stay.
Night cream.
Okay. The night cream. So unlike most of the perception, I think of night cream where it's just a more rich, more hydrating cream that you can use day or night. Not with this product. It's definitely a night treatment. It's 9% lactic acid, which is very aggressive, and that's really the star of the show in this product. But basically the idea behind this is to cocoon the skin. It's the hero product to me of this night because it's one of those things where even when you wake up in the morning, you might feel it on your skin. It's almost, after you put it on, it's almost like a gommage if you were to rub it off.
Buff it off.
Yeah. It's really, really incredible. It's a game changer. And the lactic acid, of course, is fantastic for pigmentation, the signs of aging in which we spoke on.
Signs of aging.
But also fantastic for breakouts. Fantastic. So it's interesting. I think also when you're using products for when you're struggling with acne or breakouts, they generally work against each other. If you're using really aggressive acids or if you're using, and then you're damaging the skin barrier again.
Yeah. So
this really helps restore the skin barrier as well and treat at the same time.
Yeah.
So
So you have got powerhouse products. It's not that you are all green and fluffy and non-toxic and yada yada yada. It's because there is a perception of LA, which I think is justified, in that the non-toxic thing came from here, which drives me up the wall. But for example, everyone at the dinner table has that same terminology, but at least in your case, you do tend to explain it more. My beef comes from brands who basically the product isn't made from the heart. The product is made from I'm just going to say this is a green non-toxic product and I'm going to make money and put it for sale in a really expensive store. And it's just the disingenuous part of it, to me, is why I get wound up, because people think they're buying into something that is not going to give them any allergic reactions, for example, and you can be allergic to anything, and toxicity is dose dependent.
So, and sometimes, in some cases, using products that are extremely natural,
not the best.
Are really, some people with really sensitive skin need more chemically driven products.
Yeah.
I mean, but the thing is understanding which ingredient, if you want to see results, if you want the word I'm thinking of here, powerful ingredients or active ingredients, or they have to have a chemical base. And I think when you have a purpose for that, if someone has a lot of filler with, a bunch of chemicals that are added in as fillers, that's what I'm strongly against. For me, I love hyaluronic acid chemical, lactic acid, peptides. To me, peptides are really the answer for fine lines, and you need to have that in your product. But I'm glad that you're speaking on that, though, because I think there's such a misconception of chemicals. I think we should just say are not bad.
But also, like you said, water is a chemical.
Exactly.
Everything is a chemical, so it's all dose dependent. It's all depending on the formula. The common thread through everything in this whole week in LA has been, actually my blog for the last 8 years, but especially this week, is that formula is king. So you all bring something different to the table, and I just wanted to sort of showcase the joy in different brands. I understand some people just want to use products from one brand, and that's perfectly fine if that's what they want to do. I like to cherry pick. So the other thing I just wanted to touch on, because you mentioned earlier when we were talking, we've done this so many times now because of the helicopters outside. I'm not sure if we spoke about it already on the video or if we were talking about it when you first arrived, but you were saying how much you love Instagram.
I love it.
And I love it too. And I think the wealth of information that people have been able to put out there, customers, the skincare junkies, the skincare freaks, and I say that with love, I do. And the awareness of not just being able to whack an acid on a product and say it's this, but to be able to talk freely about the pH of a product, for example.
Absolutely.
Because, you can say, this contains such and such an acid and it's a pH of 6. Well, that tells us that there's no acid in it at all.
Exactly.
You're just making a claim on the box, as it were. So in terms of the pH, I know you've spoken to me before about it being important to the line.
Well, the thing is, even if you're saying that one ingredient, but when you're formulating something, other ingredients support those ingredients as well. And if you're formulating a product that does it all, you find some of these creams that, have such a broad range of ingredients thrown in, they don't work under the same pH. So one ingredient is always going to overpower the other.
Yeah.
So,
and they've been put in there just so they can make the claim on the box.
Exactly. So I think, like for instance, my night cream's an acidic pH, my day cream's alkaline. Mm-hmm. And they both support each other. So if I like to sell them together because the night cream has an acidic pH. It's designed to exfoliate the skin, to pretty much, I always call that one, I'm like, that's the fighter, and the day cream's the lover.
Oh!
I'm like the lover and the fighter. And then the day cream does have the peptides, the antioxidants, ingredients that are designed to work in a different environment than lactic acid.
Yeah.
So, and lactic acid to me is one of my favorite ingredients because it speaks to me.
Yeah. Everyone has their own favorite ingredient, though. I love it.
It's just, I love hyaluronic acid. But am I going to make a product that combines the two of them? There's no need to do that. There's a better place for either one of those ingredients and a better formulation for them.
Yeah.
So formulation is just key. And that's why it's like, you look at all these brands are using similar ingredients. It's just the formulation process that makes it so different.
And that also the formula that makes it either a brilliant product or an extremely average product, depending on You know, if you've got 5 ingredients and you use them all at different percentages in both products, you've got 2 wildly different products. So I do think the joy of Instagram is that and I think Instagram being a visual platform has changed the way literally changed the way people view skincare. From my point of view, being able to put my routine up there and showing that I'll use 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 products, and they might be 3 from the same range, one day they might all be completely different, but I will talk about how they work together. That's kind of because you can do that. I do think it's unfortunate if it means that some people think they can just go out and buy 8 different serums and they'll all work together, because that's not how it works. You have to have a certain knowledge set of this won't react with this and this will be fine, and you know, it'll work together. And that's why I always try and do them with a full explanation of this works with this, and I wouldn't do that because I'm doing this.
Right.
And seeing that replicated as well is amazing, because it shows the obsession people have for skincare, and I love it, because we weren't in this place 10 years ago.
I know. Well,
not even
you're
close.
A big reason as to why.
I'm just saying. I don't think so.
I
just
kidding?
think it's generally evolved.
Okay, hashtag Caroline Hirons made me do that. Do it.
Caroline Hirons made me do it. Liz Alaska, that was you. But I love that. You know, I love that it's encouraging people to try skincare and to play with it. I hope we're not encouraging people to waste money. There's always going to be a sort of trial and error if you buy something in good faith and you think, actually, that didn't really work for me. But I do think the community as a whole on Instagram has been so all-encompassing and so supportive of all these indie brands, as I call all of you guys, you know, in terms of giving you direct feedback. The difference is when you're an indie brand on Instagram, you listen to it and you respond to it.
You have to.
If you're talking to a corporate brand on Instagram, it's highly likely it's a social media agency replying to you and not the person behind the brand. If there's a person behind the brand. A lot of brands these days have sold and they're now owned by a big corporation and they don't have a person behind the brand. So my instinct these days has been really drawn towards people who still have the responsibility, because I think if someone has their name on the product, then surely that carries right through, the integrity goes right through the range, for the most part, if they haven't sold.
Well, and the other thing is, how lucky are we to have direct contact with our customer? I mean, if somebody takes a photo of my product and posts it and says what they like about it, there's nothing better than that. Like, I look at it, it's just, it makes my day.
And also,
I get like emotional about it. I'm just so thankful for that. And if you don't listen, that's our customer. That's who we're selling to. I'm like, I want to make you happy. And I mean, I started this out saying, I make these products because it's what I like. That's the start. But if there are things we can improve upon, we're constantly looking for that. So.
Yeah, completely. And I think you all have a similar integrity that everyone can see. Also, just based on the simple way that you talk to people on social media. You know, the respect that's there and the thank you for your feedback and the way that you will engage with people, I think is something that the bigger brands could learn from. Because I always, you know, not all of them, it's not a sweeping blanket statement, but a lot of the bigger brands, it's very formulaic and very corporate. Thank you so much. You can email us here at customer services if you're not happy. What is that?
No.
What is that? My kids could do that. You know, that customer spent their money on your money. Talk to them, goddammit.
Yeah.
But that's me getting on my high horse.
I'm like, you go, girl. I like this.
So, talk to me about have you got anything new coming out? Anything exciting? You don't have to give anything away. Just a little teaser, maybe, for the viewers at home.
One word, retinol.
Okay, yeah, you said retinol.
Which you will be seeing some lab samples sent your way.
Nice.
Yes. So I've been working on one there's so many different iterations I go through that it's been about a year.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that one.
Because you're going to have a pretty cohesive range then, aren't you? Because you're going to have cleanse, tone, acid or tone, eye, moisturizer, night cream,
we have it all.
Retinol.
The one thing I always get is questions about sunscreen though. And, you know, sunscreen is really a tricky one for me. It's the hardest
product to formulate, so you're not alone. And I would find it strange if you had done a sunscreen really early on, but unless you were loaded, because it costs a fortune to make a good sunscreen.
Like basically having a child.
Yeah, it costs a fortune to make a sunscreen. I think people
I mean, like a child through in vitro.
Yeah, no, totally, it does, because the testing alone, and then what you have now, the joy of Instagram is that it brought us all together, but the downside of that is everybody wants it as soon as they can see it on Instagram. But I guarantee if you make a formula in the FDA land, which is here, the EU may not like it. So you have the testing of both, and it is a big, expensive process.
Well, and the other thing is it's going back to, I mean, there are so many incredible brands out there and great sunscreens.
Yeah.
That I just kind of, well, you know what? You can take that.
Yeah, and that's also, that shows the maturity level that you're at, because I think you're not money grabbing. You're not going out there trying to throw 15 new products a year at people.
If anything, I'm trying not to make more products.
Yeah, and that's exactly what everybody has said. That's what May said, it's what Josh said, it's what Jordan said. And Tiffany from Drunk Elephant. Everyone I've spoken to this week has been absolutely amazingly influential and spot on by saying, I don't want to flood the market just to make money.
No.
I'm not here just to churn out product and not tell people how to use it properly and just have a space to take on the shelf, you know? You're about bringing out one good product occasionally that you believe in, and then you stand behind it. And then the other thing you've all done, now I'm really sick tooting your horn, is slightly tweak and reformulate as the ingredients progress and as things change.
That
which
is
perfect.
I'm so serious about that, because it's obviously we're not changing the entire makeup of the product, but if you know, there's things, and also just the nature of the world as it is, all ingredients are not sourced the same way. They're not, you know, so there's always changes in that, and if we're not transparent about it, you know, and I don't think there's ever a time where it drastically changes. You know, there's definitely with the moisture balancing lotion, there's things I've taken out where I'm like, okay, well, this isn't needed anymore, or we can improve upon it this way.
And that's perfect, because your transparency is there.
Oh yeah.
Whereas
I mean, you have to be transparent about all of this stuff, or else it
you do. But again, the big brands aren't. You know, people who are online and who blog or who are journalists and are magazines, we get asked all the time about formulas changing, because a customer will buy something and then they'll use it and they'll say, my skin's reacted to it. I've never reacted to this in 5 years. I'll know that the brand has changed the formula, but now they're getting caught out because that customer is now savvy enough to go and look up the ingredients list, see what they've got in their hand, and if they're different, they're like, excuse me, did you reformulate this? And it is impossible to get a straight answer on corporate to that question.
Really?
Impossible. So that's why I think we're all kind of really, you know, really supporting the sort of younger, more indie brands with proven science behind them, because you're more transparent, you know, you talk to your customers, there's a respect level there, and it feels like they can reach through the camera lens and talk to you and touch you, whereas you just don't have that when you walk into the department stores.
And just to further that, what gives me life is communicating with customers. That to me is the best day, when I, you know, often I'll ask instead of emailing someone back if they have time to chat about it, because you know, I'm old school, I like to actually talk
on the telephone. You use it to speak to people. Interesting.
I do. But it just gives me this high. I'm like, it constantly reminds me, I mean, for everything, and I know I sound so, you know, silly saying that, but
not
just
at all.
I think that, you know, even when I see an order come through, or it's still the same feeling as when the first couple orders came through for me. So I think that that's when this sort of thing is fun. I always joke with friends, I'm like, yeah, as people grow, you know, more money, more problems. What does that rap song? Anyway.
Not my forte.
No, but I'm a big rapper.
We could have Ava on, she would do the rapping for us. But yeah, transparency is key, and I think you all have it in spades. So thank you on behalf of your customers and my viewers and readers of the blog, and thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Always.
And I'm going to add a little bit from the vlog probably into this, so you can see what we've been filming with outside, because it is literally like a war zone.
It is.
Something's
We're
gone down.
We're in the main streets of, where are we, Westwood?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. I wish you huge continued success.
I love you so much.
Oh, well done. And hopefully we shall see nothing but growth.
Yes.
Oh, bye everybody. Thanks for joining.